Similar to our last tutorial, which is creating a full stack website, a land page, a portfolio website from beginning to the end, which is this. I mean, not to talk so much, let's just dive in. But before we proceed, there's some few things I want us to pick points. I want to pick points is the border. So if you notice how we got this underline from our CSS is with the border button. So let's say now we want to create a border. What you need to do is just type the word border. Let me make this 3 pixels, so it's gonna be border. Pass it your pixel, that is 1 to 100 pixels, I don't know. Give it the solid if it's necessary and the color. So now this is just basically what border means in CSS. We go back to our page and refresh, and you can see. Let me change the color so you will be able to see properly. We'll see. Refresh. So this is what border means in CSS. And so inside of the border there are different syntax, such as the border color, such as pointing the particular direction you want, like we did in this case. What we used was the border bottom. So you can also change this to border top. It's going to take effect at the top of the border. So but what we need is the border bottom. So the border top will take effect just here at the top. Here will be empty, here will be empty. And the border bottom, like we did, is just take effect beneath the navigation. Beneath the navigation. So that's what border is all about. And the next I'll talk is the margin. So what margin does is almost similar to padding. Maybe this is called the sister or the brother, or as padding. So if we just quickly inspect this and we scroll down, so this will help us define margin properly. So if you look, the margin is the outer layer of our content. How to size the outer layer. So we can use the margin to push this further, or to push this backward, or to push this upward, or to push this downward. So we could use the margin to achieve that. So let's say margin 5%. You see the difference. So you can see automatically it pushes it gives the margin of 5%, the outer layer, it pushes it to 5% all random. So you could see, and this margin also have the same almost the same category as the border, whereby you have the margin top, the margin right, the margin bottom, and the margin left. So if we don't want to target the margin top or the margin right, or we just want to target just the margin top, what we need to do is to pass in the margin top like this, dash top. So you can see that it only affected the margin top and not any other side, not the left, not the right, not the bottom. It only took effect at the margin top. So let's say now we want to target the left. So you'll see that it's going to take only effect at the left side. It didn't take any other effect elsewhere. So we can also do the same thing for the right. It may not be visible because of we've collected so many margin at the side. So let me just do bottom instead. Bottom. So you can see that it didn't affect anywhere else aside from the bottom. So you have to specify directly. In this case, we don't need the margin, so we just delete it to go back to our default character. So the next I will talk about is the padding. I don't know if I listed it. Yeah, the padding is this. It does the same thing, similar to the margin, but the difference between the padding and the margin is that the padding targets the inner layer, while the margin targets the outer layer. You can see that this is the positioning, this is the margin, which is the outer layer, this is the border that we gave it to, and this is this border and the padding. So the padding now, let's give it a padding of a general padding, top left, bottom center, bottom right. So let's give it a general padding of 5%, just like the margin. So you can see it does similar thing, but the difference is that it's take place in the inner layer rather than the outer layer. So that's the difference between the margin and the padding. So if you click here now, you see that everywhere, the top right, bottom left is given 5 pixels because we didn't specify the particular one. So let's say I want to specify the top. You can see that it only took effect at the top. Same goes for the bottom. It only took effect at the bottom. Same goes for the left. It only took effect at the left. And in this case, it's not affecting others. So you could know the different, know how to use when to use padding and when to use margin. So let's see, as we gave it a margin of 5%, and let's give it padding of 5%. So you see, this basically the same thing, but the difference is just one targets the inner layer and the other one targets the outer layer. So to simplify all what I just said, if we want to shrink this, let's say we want to shrink this more, is to target the padding left and right. So if we want to like move this, is to target the margin left and right. So that's just basically the difference. So with that being said, let's just jump right into the tutorial for today, which is the next header. So our header is just this information right here that we want to use as our header to be the head of our website. All right, so what we'll do is to quickly go back to our code pad and begin from the header section. So navbar ends and header begins. All right, header begins. Header ends. So this our header. If we look at what they basically did here is to still inside of our container, they gave a new block level element and pass in this information, this data. So let's give our own block level element with a class name header container dash container. And inside of our header container, we want this paragraph called welcome to my portfolio. So we'll just use a span for that and write it welcome to my portfolio. Good. So let's also give it a class name so we can identify this span in particular. Right. So we'll call this one portfolio span or header span. All right, good. And the next is this title right here. And to pass in a title, like we learned in our HTML, is to use the attribute or element called H1. There are about 6 headers to pass in a title, but in this case, I want to use the H1, right? And what I will do is to copy and use one of it. Hey folks, I'm a web designer. Hey folks. Hey folks, I'm a web designer. So, but I told you, you don't need to right, in capital or whatever. We could do that in our CSS. A Fox, comma, I am a web designer, or I am a graphics designer, whichever one that you feel is suitable for you. All right, our next is to pass in a paragraph that includes this information. Okay. Okay. Before that, if you notice here, there are two different content. One is the information, and the other one is this image that identifies we are into the digital world. So if you see this SVG files with the laptop and stuff, so what we need to do is to demarcate them, right? So inside of this, we want this to be in a class name, block level elements inside of a class called header dash info. All right, we pass it here. Beautiful. And inside of the header, now we continue. Inside of this header info, we will now pass in our paragraph. All right, so just copy this, Ctrl C or Command C, paste. That's all you need to do. Within successful project, blah 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 blah. Right, now we are done with this. What is left is these two buttons. So what we need to do is to add our button inside of this. So we could, use a display because of the button of display. Let's just add it inside of it. This of an empty div button. Instead of this button called download resume, I'm just used to it. It's okay. Resume. So we copy this. Yeah, get free code. Yes, so we could just pass this a class called button, and we just make sure our code is neat and everything is well organized. Alright, this we know that this block level elements for the button, and this is for our header info, and this is for the whole context. Yeah, back to business. The last but not the least is our image. So we could also create a block level for that, but we don't need. We just pass our image by our SVG by going to where it's been saved. So this is not an image, it's an SVG. So mine is saved here, and we copy and we paste under this. So obviously I will leave the source code in. I will leave the source code in the description. So in this, I will leave the source code in the description below, so you can be able to view and refresh. Yeah, you see we have this not well arranged looking website because of it's just an HTML website, an HTML tags and element for now. So to make this more presentable, or to make this look well presented, is for us to start styling our website. So let's jump right in, look at it again. Okay, so like I taught you guys, all you need to do is to start styling them one after another so you don't get confused. So that's all for the header. We'll just end at the end the header, last place, change the header, end. Okay. So let's go back and copy the first class. We continue. Alright, so in this our first class, we want the position to be relative, not sticky, unlike the header. Our header container, sorry. We want the to be relative, not sticky or absolute like our header, and we want this display should we put a display? Yes. And we want the display to be flex. We save. So if we refresh, you see that we are heading somewhere. Alright. So we want to also set the padding to, I think the top should be about 4 rem and the rest should be, let me use 6 and see. Refresh. Okay, we are almost there. I think this should be 8 instead. Okay, we are almost there. This is inside, rather. So I think this should be 12. Let's make it. Oh, we are still almost there, or we just arrived. So let's just use this one like this. I guess we just arrived. Alright, so we set our padding to be that display. We need to set our margin now. So our margin should be at least 4 rem, let's see, or 2. So it goes down, like you notice there, went down. Good. Yes. And I will put the top on right to be 0 rem and the top should be, I think, 4 rem and this should be 0. So when you don't have to put this 0 rem on. It's still the same thing, but let's just use. Yeah, beautiful. Now you can see that we have our own demarcation identical to this, similar to this. So I think we need to also, let's leave it this way. So we should just go to the next, which is this, and give it our own design. So all we need to do is to get this header information, come here and the class, open your parentheses, or brackets. So this, open your brackets. So we give our widget, before we do, let's give it a position to be relative proportional to its parent, and we should give our widget to be 100%. Alright, so we save, refresh, it's gonna be the same thing, but a little not any difference. So that's for the header information. So in this information, not this yet, just the body of this information. Alright, so the next we should go is now the information, and let's expand here. We should just get the class and style it. So the first thing I will do is to change my font family to the given, to my choice. So this is my choice. I think we should use, let's continue Montserrat. And I think the font size is okay. If you don't like the fonts, you can also change your font size. And let's see. So make the font size. Okay, I think they use a different font size. Yeah, let's see the font size. Font size is okay. All right. Okay, I think the font size is 14. The font weight is bold, and the letter spacing. So we could do this in two ways. Copy this or type them one after another. So let us type them. I think I like the letter spacing. So, all right. So letter spacing was 0.2 pixel. Yes. We save. We go back. Chrome. Yes. Now you see how beautiful it is. I think our next should be font weight. Should be bold. Let's make it save. All right. What's next we should do? We don't have to set the padding anymore because we have. We should still set the padding and see. They gave it 8 and 16. Let's see. All right. So I think, yeah, that the space in between. Yes. Yes, this space. Okay. I think that's all we need from them. We also indicate our font size to be 14. 14 pixels. All right. I mean, it's the same thing, almost the same thing. So our next should be this, right? And to achieve that, let me see how they do this. I think we should use our order font family, which is Hurricane, or no, not Hurricane, Open Sans. Open Sans. Open Sans. Right. I think that would be, yeah. So we should also use the Open Sans for here too as well. So this is our next. Our next is H1, right? So inside of this, we could just target the H1 directly, but we might be using H1 to target the H1 directly. But if we do it this way, any other H1, any other element that comes along with H1 will be styled with this. So what we need to do is to call the info and is to target the H1 directly. How to do that is targeting the direct child by the greater than symbol and the H1. So the browser or the code CSS automatically knows that you are targeting the direct child of this class. The direct child of this class, the direct H1 of this class is this. So we are targeting the H1 directly under this span. So we are targeting this that is directly under this span, right? So if you do it this way, I think this is, well, this is best you do it like this. So what do we need to do? The first we need to do is to change our text to be capitalized by doing, and they do it here. Okay, just the capitalize the use by doing text transformation, or transform, not transformation, to be capitalized. Remember, uppercase is to make all of them uppercase. And we use to just copy this and paste all here. Right. So let's get this. Font size, they use EM. You can see that this measurement units, yeah, the measurement unit here is EM. So there are lots of measurement units like I've shown you guys before, and I can't start explaining about all of it or what it does, but the difference is clear. When you try them, you'll see. So these are the measurement units. So about centimeter, EM, millimeter, inches, etc. So they use, in this case, they used 2.8 EM to target the font for the H1, and they want every H1 to fall under such category. That's why they didn't specify if it's a direct child or not. But I don't want every H1 because I might be using other H1 in our projects, you know, more information, pre-footer and the rest. Footer and the rest. So what I will do is to give it a font size of 2 EM, 2 EM, 2 EM. And we pass it the color to be black. So like I've told you before, you can do the hex color, or you can just write the name of the color directly. You can just write the name of the color directly. All right. We see. Okay, but I think this one is too big for us. All right, this one is better. And change this to border. See. Okay. Open source. Give it no font family. Montserrat. Let's use our own. And we continue. Let's see. Let's 2 1 2 1 2 1. All right. All right. So we will give our own font. You could as well find out more about the font. So the difference of this is just the font they use. So you could choose any other font you want aside from this. So, but placing it and knowing what they are for, that's our goal. So our next is this, right? So the paragraph. Let's see. We use Montserrat for it. So for us to target that, we go to our and target the P chart. So it just beneath the H1. So we are almost there. P tag. Alright, so we will just do everything aside from, okay, let's just pass font size, font family, Montserrat. Yeah, I think we should give it to normal default. Okay, let's give this. End it. Come here. Font size. Give it 12 pixels. Text direction. It's not necessary. It's not necessary. Right. Keep past the same column. And we hit save. Okay, so let's see. It's almost there. Not there yet. Let's target the P targets. Okay. Or the best thing, I don't want to be targeting the using the element to target in the CSS because of we might use them again and we're looking for what's happening, but not knowing that you've already declared it earlier before. So we set this to back to 12. It's more preferable to refresh. Okay, so we are almost there. Almost there. Let me set this to 10. Alright, this is more preferred. So let me see. Alright. So the next thing we should do now is, I think we should also pass a margin for this. Header info. I think we should pass 2 rem or under, so it doesn't aside from the left. I just want to space it around. Okay, let's just spread this. Okay, font line height. All right, so we'll just copy this and paste here. Let's see. Okay, the reason is not this image, this SVG. We are coming back to it. The SVG. I should give them flex, the direction of flex. All right, that's good. That's it. Auto 6. Let's just do something like flex 1. All right. So please take this aside from the SVG. So I'll also give it because of the okay. Why is my doing something? It's supposed to take half of it. I probably skipped something, but one thing I love about coding, yeah, it has no one way to do something. So let's just go back to our default. It was before we included the SVG. All right. Change it back to better container. Still 100%. Still good to go. Fresh. All right. Yeah. This is what I want. Okay. Look now. See. If design. All right. Okay. This one is better, almost identical to this, and yeah, we are good. All right, so Yeah, let me omit this and see something. It's going to take from the parent instead. So, alright, so we have successfully styled that description font family. Let me use Montserrat for this one. Montserrat. Oh, beautiful. Decrease this to 16. Nice. Alright, so what's next? The next is this button. Is to style our button. Okay, how we should do this is we first go download this icon and just navigate to the Unicorn's icon library and search for file or doc. It's going to bring out all of this. You choose the one that's similar to your choice, and today we should just use file info alt, file-info alt. Click on SVG to download. So well, like for me, I prefer using SVG. You can use the icon to download. So head back to your index page and look for the first button, yeah, which is download resume. You can do a command search to quickly find, navigate to where you're going to. So it's going to tell you where with this application. Alright, so we are almost there. This button is placed properly. Let's change the color to be black or almost black, 212121. And we'll change the widget to be 100%, but I will percent. Yeah. Let's see. We go back. You can see it there, right? Okay. So, is there any other icons? No, I don't think it's an icon. So let's expand this. So, and what I can do, I could write this line of code one by one, since we are trying to get the button for it. So or we should just do ours rather. Okay, they give the color 5B, 5B, and the rest. Okay. No, let's before then. I think we had a block level element. Alright, so just copy this. I will just copy this and I will paste here. Okay, I think I've gone to copy and empty. So what I'm just doing since is trying to study how they did theirs and implementing it in ours. So first thing there is to start the block level element where the button is inside. And they gave, I think they gave theirs a margin top of 1.3 rem or em thereabouts. So 1.5 rather. So and they made it important. Yeah, since we've come across this important, I guess it's time to talk about it. So what important really means is that first, it's not friendly advisable. Second is that if you want to forcefully change any of the CSS values, properties, value is, and maybe it's kind of difficult, not the pure definition, but this important forcefully changes the value. Not difficult in the sense that it's difficult in the sense that it could be tapping the value from somewhere else, most especially if we are using a front-end library like bootstraps and the rest. So you will need to use this important rule. It's called the rule, the add rule in CSS. So this is one of its importance. To save, but I don't think it needs 4 hours because we're not using any third-party stuff. We're just creating ours from scratch. So if you notice the changes, cool. Our next is now this button. So to start the button, we could just style them one by one, or we should style them in group by calling their element name called button. So because if you notice there are 2 buttons here, so we could style them one after another. We could style them all at once, just like this. You can see. So I believe their I think the height we start with the height should be 90 pixel. Let's see, and we should start with background color to be background color. I think this is EEE, so gray. That's what they give. So and we should also give it a border radius this time around. So of 50% pixel or percentage. So we go now, we refresh. Oops, and it's really bogus. Okay, so we just need to make some adjustments. 50 pixel. We are almost there. I think we should make this 25. We are still almost there. Alright, this one is better. This one is good to go. So also, so for button, well, we need to change the cursor, this moving mouse. That's what the cursor means, to point down. So when we hover around it, it's going to notify us that you can see right now it's not notifying us because we haven't refreshed that this is a button. So you see pointer. So this cursor effects another tool we need to talk about. Let's just dive into our note quickly. So if you I didn't save that. Okay, I don't think I've my notes yet. But the cursor effect is basically just, as I've told you, the pointer. This our mouse, this mouse. So if we set this to auto, let's set it to auto, it's still going to be it's going to, I believe it's going to detect that this okay, this auto, this is auto, but I think if we, it didn't detect anything because for some reasons, but it just gave back the default cursor. But let's try crosshair and see what it gives us. And we go back and refresh. So you can see the difference, right? So in order to notify your users what site is all about, you still need to do. So for this, we didn't specify anything, so we have to go back to specify because it's a navbar and it's taking them somewhere. So we do oops. Okay, so we want all the list item to have a cursor of pointer, right? And right, I think it's better now. It's too to change this. Alright, so if we hover, you can see now it indicates that there is a link here. So you don't have to, it indicates that here is taken to it. And here there's more about this page. So the cursor pointer, oh, there's more about this page, just like it did for the button. So you can see now, but for the button, we use crosshair. So back to the different, let's just use more. So we use move and we come back. In this case, we use move, save. So if we go back now and refresh, you can see that it's a different cursor. So they are different. There's resize, there's text, there's help, there's wait. So let's just use this help and two more, and we continue with our lecture. So you can see the difference, right? So that's it. I mean, there are so many. These are just, there are many ways we could change our cursor to. So I just showed you some of them this way. This is, look at them here, the auto, crosshair, pointer, move, etc. So you can see. So this is what the cursor does. All right. So this is what the cursor basically do. Now next, let's use the last one, help. So I will refresh. You can see. So but in this case, we are just passing a button and we need only the cursor to be pointed out. So we're not doing passing in services. I think we should also give line height to our navigation. So make it right. Refresh. All right. So let's use the code index instead. Use the same description, like I want the color to be out. Alright, now it's looking more bright. Okay, so I think we need to also reduce. Now let's target the text inside, right, of this button. Okay, let's see how. Alright. Let me see. Alright, so back to it. Let's target the let's make this height to be 30 and let's target the font size so we can target the text inside. Font size to be is 10 pixel. We can pass in a transition to be all 3.33 seconds. So it's just a way of. Alright, so let's save, refresh. Alright, so let's look back at this. We are almost there. Line heights, overflow, padding, radius. Okay. Font weight, dash weight, bold, line dash height, normal, overflow, hidden. I think that's it. What else is this? Padding. 1329. Alright. Save. Refresh. Alright. Yeah, this is looking better. It's looking better. So what we need to do next is to remove all these unnecessary, let's say, border to be done. Or outline. Alright. So you can see now we are almost there. So what we just did basically is still part of the border. So if we don't want a border, what we need to set it to be none, the border automatically disappears. As well as when you click this button, okay, there's no link yet. I would have showed you what an outline would do. Alright, so let's see. Text island center. Let's see. My left to the padding. 13 and 29. Lastly, padding. 13, 0, 29, 0. Alright, so that's how to target the inside. If it was margin, you are targeting the outer layer. So I don't think this padding is fair enough. So we wanted to target the text inside of the button. That's why we use padding to target. So it's going to target the inner layer of that. So I'm shrinking for us. What should do this? Button. This should be 0 instead of 1. This is 1 or 0. See, fresh. All right. Let's go back. Okay, we are almost there. Let's see. Right. So, but if you look here now, this is a different color. So, but when you look, we used one class, one of these to style the rest, right? In order to target the second one, we'll just do after last child. Background color. Yeah, so you can see how we use Presidio selector to target the last child of that element, right? And we can set the color to be white. Then you can see how we use Presidio selector to target the last child of this button, because there are two buttons, right? So we continue from where we stop. And the last but not the least is this SVG over there. So to do that, we first resize our SVG using an inline style. We could do that using a CSS, but since it's an SVG, let's use an inline style. It's more preferable. I'll give this to be, let's try 50 pixels and see. Let's see. Okay. All right. Let me see the default one. Right. So let me do right. Let me try something. Margin. All right. All right. Okay, what I should do is just change it. Mm, shrink it. Well, for some reason, without this flex one, we are almost done. We are almost done. What I will just do is to make a mass widget to this to be 50%. Under this header span, which is here, which ought to be the more info. Okay, now we are good to go. So this is telling all our what we are going to do to stop this moving objects. We will go down here, maybe from the body, we can stop it by saying overflow hidden. Now you see it's no longer dancing around. Yes, so if we compare, we are almost there. We are almost there. We are almost there. So our next will be the projects. This project. But before we end this lecture, first of all, if you notice, if you hover around, it gives us another color when you hover around. So to do that, and I notice all of the hover button has the same color. So what we'll just do is to pick an element selector that will do that for all. So pick the container where all of them are inside of it and pass in our procedure selector called over and give it the effects. So we just send our background color to be not background color, our normal color to be yellow, which is the index for I think FFF 107 or so. Yeah, honestly, I guessed this one correctly. So you could either find the code in Google search or you guess yours like I did. But you don't have to guess, just go to Google and search for hex or color code for yellow. So for a reason it didn't apply. Notice some reason it didn't apply, but we could do it the normal way. Napa. Let's do it normal and target the ones we want them to hover specifically. So let's target this li h. Hover. So if you see, if we hover around them, it does like the same. I think this one is gold, not yellow. So let's not waste much of the time. Let's just use the name of the color code. So we can as well select from here. No, we don't need to use the so select. Yeah, FFA 600. So if we hover, you can see that it changes. So if you notice this motion moving, they are done by using either pure Node.js or you can do it with jQuery. I guess this is done with jQuery. So at the end of this lecture, we will come back to all the special effects. For now, let's just keep it basic using HTML and CSS. So we are done with the header. We hover around this. It's going to be so we also need to change this to be pointer, the cursor to be pointer because there is more information there. And as well change the hover effect to be column dash code hover. We do the same thing. Say there is Alright, so you can see if we hover around, we can do the same thing for the logo too. So that's not necessary. Yeah, we also need this if you hover around. So, but you notice that when you point now, it has a cursor pointer to signify there are more information here. The last but not the least is to target our button. So you see, that's it. That's it for today. And in our next lecture, we'll be going through the next, which is projects. Yeah. So, and I think after projects is more info. That's pretty footer. Yeah, this is our next. We're going to design this and this more info, footer, and the rest. So that's it for today. Thank you guys for joining this lecture. And if you don't know your tutor, then check my name at the description for the title. Okay, it's nothing